You wanna, you wanna, you wanna hot body, you wanna Bugatti, you wanna Maserati, you better work, bitch. You wanna Lamborghini, sip martinis, look hot and a big.
This is Louis Yurdell here in the Iron Asylum again with IFBB Pro Sabrina Taylor. They're going to think this is the only thing I do for RX Muscle. Sabrina, how are you today?
I'm doing good.
So the reason I keep interviewing you, the reason we keep doing the Iron Asylum videos is you keep doing shows. This season, you've done 3 shows, and you got 3 wins. The Titans, then the LA, and just recently the Emerald Cup, which was your 10-year anniversary show. Let's talk about the Emerald Cup for a second. 10 years ago, we touched on this in the last video, 10 years ago you went there, got your first and only NPC win overall, and then went to get your Pro Card USAs. 10 years later, you step on stage as a pro, and you win an overall as a pro for women's physique. Talk about it.
Wow, it's almost it feels good to hear it out loud. You know, I went over it in my head going into the Emerald Cup. Yeah, it's been 10 years. 10 years ago, I was active duty military. I was in the Air Force, and I lived in Okinawa, Japan. And I had a girlfriend said she was headed to Seattle to do a show, and she told me about the NPC, told me about fitness, and I said, you know what, I want to go with you. And I ended up in Seattle at the Emerald Cup. It was a great show. Like you said, it was my first show in the NPC, and it was a great show. It's always been a huge show. I think back then they told me it's the biggest show on the West Coast, the NPC show. At least back then, that's what I was told. So I went there, naive about it. The place is pretty big. So fast forward 10 years.
Back then when you won it, were you like, well, yeah, it's no biggie.
It was almost one of those things. There might have been a little bit of that because I really didn't know. And the girl, and I had a fitness background, and I put together this this outfit to wear, and she was a pretty good friend. She was a good supporter, and I went there really not knowing what I was getting into. When I got there, then it was kind of hit me. I saw the other girls, and they were serious about it. I got a little bit nervous, but back then, my gymnastics, I was pretty still strong in my gymnastics, so I was just excited to do the routine.
So you just got the Emerald Cup, so 2 wins basically in the last 4 weeks, and now coming up this weekend, you decided to step on stage at the Dallas Europa, which is probably one of the bigger shows. So we're going to Dallas, and you're going to put up against probably some, probably gonna be some tough competition there as far as women's physique goes. What's your thoughts going into the Dallas Europa?
Let's see. Yeah, we're headed.
Remember, this is the show that Dana won last year to qualify for the Olympia. It just was later in the year.
That's right. But isn't she in Montana right now, fishing? I think. But anyways, back to me, right? So yeah, she won it last year. So I am headed to Dallas, and I've competed in Dallas before. So this is kind of a weird year for me. First doing the Emerald Cup, and in Dallas I did a show in fitness, pro fitness show in Dallas as well. So it's almost like I'm backtracking 10 years later. So I'm excited to go there. Last year I did one show in October. I did the Titans in October, and I headed straight to the Olympia. So due to reasons in my life, I could only do that one show and head straight to the Olympia. So I'm tackling this year, 2014, a little bit different. I, of course, did my shows here in where I live in California, and I wanted to go out and compete in other shows outside of California. So Emerald Cup, just personally, that one being 10 years after I first started, going back to that, and now Dallas, also out of California. Just wanted to go there and let other judges see me before I get to the Olympia.
Now this year you're going to bring a much different and much more improved package to the Olympia. You already brought a much more improved package to the recent shows you've been in. One thing notably, your legs have come up tremendously. They were good before. They're getting a lot better now. Your symmetry and flow is going good. today we trained back. You trained back. I filmed back. And one thing that you are known for is your wicked crazy V-taper, tiny waist, big V-taper on your back. Tell me a little bit about your training. You don't have to get specifically exercises. I know you're a big pull-up junkie, and what you do to really make that back pop.
Yeah, I am. I'm a firm believer in pull-ups. So I don't ever start my back workouts with pull-ups. I use those in mid-workout, but I do like to go heavy on back. I did at the beginning. I used to start off with deadlifts a lot. I at this close to a show, I'm not doing the deadlifts, but I do like deadlifts. I do like to go heavy, so I do stress that on my back. And I think I like just the ability to move heavy weight, and I can do that with back. So, we all like body parts that we do well at, so I think it just kind of morphed into one of those body parts that I find to be one of my favorite to work out.
You already know what it is. All I do is work, hustle, kill. 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 All I do is work. 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 Hustle and kill.
But I was thinking about something as you're talking about back. I was thinking about the other competitors that you're going to be going up against. Not necessarily with the Europa, maybe down the road with the Olympia. A lot of names out there. And I was thinking about how many different of the physiques are there out there. There's different people that have a physique that, if you try to compare them to each other, it's hard to say, well, let's compare the physiques piece by piece. Leg, back, waist, abs, shoulders. A lot of the physiques are different. With what you have, how do you think that stacks up against some of these other girls, and how do you think they stack up against you? And it really just comes down to my take is a matter of opinion.
Well, I think in this sport, opinion does fall into it. You can always say somebody's opinion and what they see on the stage, but I do think the way I look at it, symmetry is a big factor. If we're looking at women's physique, the way I look into it and the way I understand women's physique, I think symmetry needs to be one of the biggest factors. Because you can look at one body part and say, oh, this particular female has great quads, but you also have to look at her upper body as well. So if I turn it on to what I may have faced in women's physique, where I was, like you said, I have really put a big emphasis on my lower body and my legs. I feel like I've always been symmetrical, but just wanting my legs to match my upper body. So if somebody, if I hear, oh, well, she needs to put more emphasis on her legs, or her legs need to be built up, I look at it the same way as the other way around, where you have a lot of females with bigger quads, but do their upper bodies match? And will somebody win just because they have nice quads, but you're forgetting to look at, let's say, maybe their arms, their biceps, their triceps? So I really do think it's going to involve symmetry, and I feel like it needs to be a feminine flow to that symmetry. For me, what I think of what women's physique should be.
That's fair enough. I think that's exactly where it's going. So I think it's a very fair assessment. Very good.
I can add one more thing.
Go ahead.
Oh, my other thing is a small waist.
Small waist. Well, yeah, no one likes a wide waist. That's in anything. That's in figure, bikini, bodybuilding, you name it. Small waist is right there. That's a no-brainer. So you've gone through your back training. You're coming into Dallas Europa. Your sponsor, Iron Mag Labs, has really been there really from the get-go of your physique competitions. And I think they may have been there even before the physique started, but they're definitely there during the whole physique. Want to say a few words to Iron Mag Labs? I mean, I know you do.
Thank you for allowing me this time. Iron Mag Labs has been there ever since I started Women's Physique. So they've supported me. They have believed in me from the beginning. So I owe them a big thanks for their support and holding on to me as one of their athletes. So I continue to do my part for them, and they of course do a big part for me. So other people I want to thank, when we talk about how I've improved with my physique, which I feel like I have to send out big thanks to Kimbo, my coach. So Kim Odo has done, has set me up for me to make the improvements that I have made. And I believe each time we step on that stage, starting back in October, starting from the Olympia on, we have made the improvements that were necessary. So I owe him much thanks, and I always say, Kimbo knows. So he's been great along this process, and I can't wait to see where we proceed from here up into the Olympia. And then I will always have to thank Dave for, of course, allowing me on RX Muscle and doing these interviews. This is how I get my voice out there.
Jumbo Palumbo. Well, Dave enjoys watching these videos, I'm sure, and hearing what we...
So, are they going to be in Dallas?
Dave, Amanda, Johnny, everyone's going to be in Dallas.
Oh, so that'll be awesome. Then I can thank them in person.
I know Amanda's looking forward to seeing you there.
I'm looking forward to seeing her.
All right, well, that wraps up this Iron Asylum. We've gone through the back training. We've talked about the Emerald Cup, and we talked about the Dallas Europa, the prestigious show in the South. And the Emerald Cup was a crown jewel of the North, so it's a crazy ride.
Yeah, it's been a blessed year.
Gotta say that again. God bless. All right, guys, this is Louis Giordell here with IFBB Pro Women's Physique, 4-time pro champion Sabrina Taylor, rxmuscle.com.
Hey, Dirty, what? Look at that girl right there. She make me say, yeah,
What you do? I like the way you do that right there, right there. Switch your hips when you walk and let down your hair, I like the way you do that right there, right there. Make your lips when you talk and that make me stir, I like the way you look in them pants.